So good day once again, and thank you for staying with us for the second segment of this a special feature of the life of Blessed Teresa of Calcutta. So after giving a glimpse, a brief biography about Mother Teresa of Calcutta, so allow me to also give you a kind of glimpse what are her thoughts, her reflection, and how her life was guided by this. The first thought I would like to share to you is this. She said, a clean heart is a free heart. So very interesting to note, what do we mean a clean heart is a free heart? I remember the word of John the Baptist when he said, I must decrease and he must increase. In other words, when we talk about clean heart, it means emptying of any human desires. For example, Cardinal Rosales, Gaudencio Rosales in Manila, when he was asked to define, how do you define the kingdom of God? And where is the kingdom of God? He said that the kingdom of God is in a heart of a person where God has no rival and competitor, meaning an empty heart. So in other words, when we talk about empty heart, it also follows a clean heart for the heart of Jesus to dwell. So according to Mother Teresa, a free heart can love Christ with an undivided love, especially in chastity, convinced that nothing and nobody can separate it from his love. So that's why he was very clear when he talked about purity, chastity, and virginity. So it means a total surrender of oneself to God. So a clean heart, a pure heart, and an empty heart. That is the way he would like to emphasize the meaning of purity, chastity, and virginity. Oneness in our longing for Christ. Oneness in our way to love Christ. Oneness in our way giving ourselves as the bride of Christ. And oneness in our intention to serve Him. Meaning a clean heart is a free heart. Meaning undivided dedication, commitment, and desire to serve the Lord. So that's why she said, why the Blessed Virgin Mary has special beauty? This because he showed great love for his son Jesus Christ, and at the same time a total dedication of her life to protect, to nurture, and to stand with her son Jesus Christ from womb until the tomb. So when we talk about virginity today, as Mother Teresa would say, who cares for virginity, especially among modern women? They all say, who cares for virginity? Virginity doesn't make any sense today and is no longer relevant. And much more, we say chastity and purity in mind, heart, and spirit. Who cares? That's why Mother Teresa of Calcutta would like to stress, only a clean heart is a free heart. Only a clean heart can totally reject a purity of heart. And at the same time, only a clean heart can truly practice what we call the virtue of chastity. From the Sermon of the Mount, what does it say when we talk about clean heart or purity of heart? It says, blessed are the pure of heart, because they shall see God. So in other words, when we talk about purity of heart, it does not mean I believe only virginity, chastity, or we say purity. So when we talk about clean heart, meaning a person can see the beauty in another person when he can see the presence of Christ in that person. Because when we talk, blessed are the pure of heart, for they can see God, meaning in the purity of heart, in a clean heart, one can easily see the face of the suffering Christ. One can easily see the hungry face of Christ, and one can easily see the face of a suffering Christ in the person of the marginalized and the poorest of the poor. So why it is easy for Mother Teresa to love the unlovable? Because of unclean and pure heart. Why it is very easy for her to give all the needed attention and compassion and to embrace a dying person who needs that love, because her heart is so clean and her heart is so pure that in every face of a suffering person, she can always see the face of the suffering Christ. In other words, the way to serve a dying person, the way to serve the unwanted person, is the way he sees the presence of Christ, the visible sign of Christ, the sacramental presence of Christ among the poorest of the poor. And so, unless we have a clean of heart, unless we have a free heart, which in the gospel, a pure heart, we can never see God among others, especially among the poorest of the poor. So that's why deep in her, there is a terrible hunger for love. We all experience it in our life, the pain, the loneliness. We must have the courage to recognize it. And so he said, poorest of the poor who hunger for love are not only the people along the street, even in our own family. There could be members of our family who are indeed longing to be loved. So rich, yet so poor in terms of being loved. So that's why we recall the encyclical of Pope Benedict XVI, Deus Caritas Est. So loving the poorest of the poor is not only give them what are their basic needs. It is not only feeding them, giving them water, giving them clothing, giving them shelter. The most important is giving them the love that they want, the love that they long for, respect for the dignity as a human person. And only with the love of Christ can we bring that message to the poorest of the poor. So there is more than just giving bread. There should be the element of love for them to lift up the spirit, saying, we never thought that in spite of what we are and who we are, there's still people who care for us, who care to love. So that's why he has an advice for those who are pure of heart and clean heart, who can see the presence of Christ among the poor. So this is the way we should relate to them. She said, speak tenderly to them. Let there be kindness in your face, in your eyes, in your smile, in the warmth of your greetings. Always have a cheerful smile. Don't only give your care, but give your heart as well. Could you imagine this word? You don't only just give your kindness, your face, your eyes, your smile, and your warm greeting. You don't only want to tell them that you care. You want to tell them that you are giving even your heart as well. So who would not be touched by the way she showed compassion for the marginalized? That's why the charism of her community brings to us that message that they are not just bringing food or medicine or a package or a box of caring and sharing community attitude, but they're giving their all because they give their heart. And so she said, when you commit yourself to this kind of mission for the poor, give yourself fully to God. He will use you to accomplish great things on the condition that you believe much more in His love than in your own weakness. One classic example of one who recognized his weakness, the criminal beside the cross. He said to Jesus, Lord, remember me when you are in paradise. So could you imagine, in the weakness of that person, God gave His unconditional love and redemption for him. And so he was saved. And much more for those who acknowledge themselves that how can I say yes to God for that mission? Because I am weak. I am a sinful person. Remember Peter when he was approached by Jesus, Lord, do not come to me because I am a sinful person. But one way or another, if you give yourself fully to God, He can change your weaknesses. He can change your sinfulness. He can change whatever negative element in you, that you may become a healer, a servant, an apostle to proclaim the good news of God. Remember Saint Augustine, and remember all the rest. So, give yourself fully to Him when you are called, and allow Him to use you, transform you, that you may be a gift to the church and to the world. So, thank you for listening for the second segment. So, kindly stand by as we make a break and see you for the last segment.